Good morning. I am so excited to be here with you this morning. And excuse me. Um, anyway, I am here with you this morning and I am talking about why is there so much shame and judgment around money? Um, that's a great question, right? Um, I wish I had the answer, right? But we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. And, you know, just as like in the mental health world, like if, we just had Twitch and commit suicide, and there's so much shame and judgment around mental health that we're finally starting to talk about. And that's wonderful. That's great. But why do we have so much shame and judgment around money? Maybe it's time we start talking about that too. Um, when I start working with women, I meet them where they're at. I, you know, there's no judgment, there's no shame. And um, if you have debt, that's okay. We can work through that. It's all okay. And what I so often hear is women are afraid to work with a financial coach just because of what they may have done or not done and don't want to be judged around that. Um, don't want to feel stupid, don't want to feel ashamed. And with me, there is no shame or judgment. Um, there's only moving forward. You can't change the past, and you can only change the future. So, having any kind of shame and judgment around what you do in the past does you absolutely no good. No good. And, we're all here to learn and grow and become better humans. And there's no point in shaming or judging anyone, people who have money or people that don't have money. And, I keep coming back to this thing that came up the other day when I was at the gym. And someone said, I don't want to be rich, to me. And I was like, that's an interesting statement. But again, it's a judgment. What is rich? What is poor? And that means something different to everybody. I'd love to dive into the psyche of why she doesn't want to be rich. Wasn't the place or time, but like there's obviously something behind that, why she doesn't want to be rich. She feels that rich means something, right? And we all put our own meanings on things. And that's where all this shame and judgment comes from. Like our own meanings about what we've done or haven't done. We're afraid other people are going to judge us on what we've done or haven't done, or if we want to be rich, right? And, rich isn't greedy. Most people, are very giving. Of course, there's the handful that are rich and that are greedy. But there again, that's us judging. That's us judging somebody else for what they did or didn't do. And judgment sucks. Like, there's no point in judging anyone. for anything. And, took me a long time to realize that, because I grew up in a family where there was a lot of judgment. And when I finally realized that there's no point to that, there's no point to judging others. We're here on this planet for an experience, and the only thing we can do is help each other. Judging each other is not going to help each other. Shaming each other is not going to help each other. So I like to throw judgment and shame right out the freaking window, because I've been in a place where I was ashamed of a few years, 20 some years ago. I was in my late 20s with 2 children, very young children. I couldn't financially afford to put them in daycare. And it just didn't make sense with what I made, what I could make annually then. And so I was a stay-at-home mom, which was wonderful. I don't regret that. I love it. I figured out a way to make money and be a stay-at-home mom at the same time through my career, which was awesome. But I also went back and educated myself, because like 25 years ago, our joint income was under $25,000 a year, my husband and I. And that meant that we, when we filed our tax return, we got what was called an earned income credit. And that was actually the first year. I don't do taxes anymore, but back then I trained to do taxes, and that was the first year I did taxes. So I did my own taxes. And I got this earned income credit. And I'll never forget the shame and embarrassment of this earned income credit, because what it was I was getting money from the government because I didn't make enough money. So it wasn't just my taxes coming back. It was they were giving me more money because I didn't make enough money as a family of 4, and I was below the poverty line. So I've come a long way since then, and I'm very, very proud of myself. But I was very ashamed of that. And I vowed that year for that never to happen again. But, so I don't judge or shame others for where they're at. And if I can come from that place to the place I am today, very financially independent, anybody can. And that's the way I look at it. So before you shame or judge somebody else, think about how you would feel if you were in their shoes. Sucks, right? We shame and judge ourselves more as women than anybody could ever shame and judge ourselves, right? We do it to ourselves. We beat ourselves up like crazy. Why? I don't know. We all do it. It's how we're wired. So don't do it to somebody else, right? Like, be there for them. Be their cheerleader and not their judgment zone. Be there for them. So I just came on here today because this is on my heart, and I wanted to share and let everybody know that if you want to talk about your financial situation with me, there's no shame and no judgment about where you're at, where you've been, where you're going, what you want. None of that. Because I've been there. I've done that. And I know you can get to the other side. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I'm headed to my son's graduation, who I'm super proud of. He is my oldest son, and he's graduating a little later in life. He is 27. He went to college as a right out of high school, and I always like to say he was having too much fun to study. So then he came and worked for my husband and my husband's business for a few years. And then I was so proud of him because he went back to school and he did better than ever. He is now graduating with, I think it's like a 3.6 GPA, which blew my mind. He didn't even have that in high school. He definitely didn't have that in college the first time he tried college. So um, I couldn't be prouder of him. And it just warms my heart that, you know, he didn't shame or judge himself. We're talking about shame or judgment. And he went back and he tried again. And he did it this time. And he's going to be working for a big four accounting firm, Price Waterhouse. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder of him. So I'm so excited to celebrate that with him today and his graduation. And yeah, and so we carry all that with us every single day. And there's you can always get to the other side, right? Just like I did, just like my son did. You know, um, it's great. So have a wonderful day, and please remember, no shame, no judgment. You yourself, especially, only say nice things to yourself because guess what? You're the only one listening.